just living legends. Our next guest had their documentary premiere at Tribeca Festival. It asked the question, what would the national anthem sound like if it was recorded today in 2023?
Do you think it's even possible that we can create a song that has multiple identities that everybody would feel comfortable singing and be like,
I don't think so.
You think it's,
I think you always offend somebody no matter what side of the fence you're on.
Like, not everybody likes...
I would love it if you could.
I think there's a difference between made for and accepted by. I do think there could be a song made for/with everyone in mind.
I think we can try, and I think we should try because things have to progress. It has to.
Amen to that.
Very interesting.
Anthem premiered at Tribeca yesterday, and joining us live this morning, composer Kris Bowers and Grammy-winning music producer Dahi, both whom are featured in the documentary. Hello and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
It's interesting that we talk about the anthem because Friday we were celebrating all things Puerto Rican. And Puerto Rico, to some people who may not know, we have our own anthem. And it is up, are you guys familiar?
Not really,
This will be your second documentary because it is up for debate because there are a certain sector of people that think it was written by colonizers. And shouldn't it advance? So this documentary is so timely
Very poignant,
for so many people. What was the impetus to doing this?
So Pete Nix, the director, came to me about 4.5 years ago, just because he'd been thinking about this idea of the anthem. He worked on a few projects, or was talking about a few projects that were going to the history of it. And he came across this piece of information that talked about the fact that the anthem that we know, the Star Spangled Banner, is actually written to a British piece of music. And so he started thinking about how influential our country is, known for music, and wanting to figure out if it's possible to kind of reimagine the anthem for today's time with American music at the core of the influence.
I want to take a deep dive into what your thoughts, particularly on the matter, are. But first, we would be remiss if we did not congratulate you coming off of.
Oh my gosh, where are my manners? Congratulations!
The festival appearance.
Thank you.
I mean, Tribeca Festival is huge. Many will aspire, not all will reach. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely in order. How are we feeling coming off of that?
It's amazing. You know, I think for me, it's something I've never really thought about as a goal of mine, but I think just being a part of a film like this and seeing it have a connection with people, and also kind of just the idea of what this film means, being able to have a honest conversation about that and have a platform as Tribeca Festival is just something that I'm just amazed to be a part of. So.
Yeah. How about you? Kris?
Yeah, same. I mean, it's such a historic film festival, and I feel like there's so many great films that come here and have been here over the years, and so to have this film embraced by that community means a lot, for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about the anthem. I grew up, I'm of a certain age. I got all of you by at least 30 years.
Doesn't look a day over 30.
I remember, like, once in a blue moon, we would have to sing the national anthem. I also work for the New York Mets, where if we don't do the national anthem, our heads will be on a spit. What are your thoughts about the national anthem and advancing it to reflect what America has become?
Well, I think for me, just knowing, obviously, you know, singing the national anthem in games and knowing the tradition behind it. I think one thing I realize about it is that the words may not really be the focus. A lot of it's just more the tradition of singing it and what it means for everybody individually. Everybody has their own story. Everybody has their own connection to it. And so for me, you know, I think about, you know, my father's an immigrant from the Ivory Coast, and him coming to America and trying to make a better life for himself is something that I've always have an appreciation for, of just being born here. But I think in general, it's something that I think even being a part of this film was something that I was always thought about when it comes to just traditions and it being changed and applied to different times, because the words and the musicality of the song is connected to a whole different era. So reimagining it in today was just something that I, you know, when Kris brought it to me, was like, oh, this could be kind of cool to do, and just to try as a social experiment.
Yeah, for sure.
And you mentioned, it's funny you mentioned social experiment, because I know in the documentary you guys visit a bunch of different cities and you kind of get into it with the different cultures of wherever you visit. So I wonder if you might be able to talk to me a little bit, Kris, about that whole experience and kind of diving into I mean, we're all in the lower 48, as Marisol likes to say, but
Yeah.
everybody has a different path, journey, life experience. It's not all the same, and it's beautiful. So we're wondering what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I mean, we were able to go to a handful of places. We really wanted to go. I mean, this could be like the beginning of a series of films if we went to all the different places. But
Put it out there.
we went to Detroit and New Orleans and Tulsa and Nashville and Oakland and the Delta, and to talk to all these different people about their culture and the musical history of each of those places was really inspiring, but also just how we were able to bring people from different backgrounds to the conversation. Like that was the big thing for Pete, the director, was opening the floor and holding space for people that had very different opinions about the anthem, about America and all of that, and to see if we can have space for those opinions to kind of coexist and have fruitful conversation from it. And so it was really beautiful to have people come with such openness to those conversations and really be willing to not only express themselves and be vulnerable, but also hear someone else's opinion and have respect for that as well. Yeah.
That's what
And
it's all about.
did you find that in your experience shooting this film, that people were open to it and realized that everything evolves?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that one thing that we talked about a lot on the trip was it was interesting to talk to people about the Star Spangled Banner and realize that a lot of their connection to it and love for it was what it represented. It was almost this like oral symbol where for them, when you ask them why do they love it, and it's like, well, because it reminds me of my family, it reminds me of like people I know that served in our military. And so then it's like, oh, it's less about the song, it's more so about what the song makes you feel and makes you think about. And I think once we were able to recognize that, like, we can all appreciate that and respect that and talk more about where we come from as people and the communities we come from and the people we love, that there's a much more common ground. So I think that making people feel like they can be comfortable with any opinion about the anthem or about the country really made it so that people came to those conversations pretty openly. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
You're doing God's work, really.
Yeah.
Bringing people together. It's all about coexisting and finding common ground.
Right.
It makes the world go
Yeah,
round.
definitely.
Well, congratulations
Yeah,
again.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you both.
guys.
Thank you for
Appreciate
making
it.
the film. I see a part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and
Yeah.
7.
And you
Yes.
said it on live television, so now it has to happen. That's kind of how it works. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. And you can watch Anthem when it premieres on Hulu. That is going to be on June 28th.